Produced in 2010 by DreamWorks Animation and written by William Davis, Dean DeBlouse, and Chris Sanders, and based on Christadina Cowell's novel, the 3D computer-generated film How to Train Your Dragon is an outstanding piece of animated work. Through its use of the 12 principles of animation, it creates as well as embellishes believable characters and their emotions, so much so that the viewers of this film can distinguishably relate in some way, shape, or form to any of the characters that are portrayed. In the age of Vikings and dragons on the island of Berk, Hiccup, a young Viking and son of Stoic the Vast, longs for the day to fight dragons like the rest of his tribe. However, misfortune always befalls Hiccup whenever he tries to prove himself and is thus shunned by the rest of his tribe, including his father. Stumbling upon a dragon named Toothless, who he recently injured, Hiccup becomes determined to shed its blood for his tribe, but he cannot follow through with it. As a result, Hiccup is now drawn to the mysterious nature of dragons as he befriends the once frightening and dangerous dragon Toothless, and he discovers that the dragons are not all as dangerous as he had been led to believe. Now armed with and motivated by his knowledge of dragons, Hiccup sets out to change the hearts and minds of his tribe, finally bringing peace to the island. Hiccup and Toothless's strong and effective characterization through the use of animation principles was crucial in the creating realistic and believable character performance. For example, creating a stylistic design of both characters and the surrounding environments enhanced the overall appeal of the film. In this scene, as Toothless creeps from the rock and approaches Hiccup, we see that the dragon is cautious, careful, but also aggressive when around people, thus giving us an idea of the dragon's emotional mindset. As we can see, when Toothless cautiously creeps towards Hiccup utilizing a slow in motion, however, in a split second he backs away in a quick and exaggerated but aggressive motion upon seeing that the young Viking is armed, after which he solidifies his stance with a slow out. Additionally, in this moment of Toothless and Hiccup's emotional expressions, they are further improved with the use of secondary action. An example would be as Toothless backs away from Hiccup, his wings and tail move closer to the dragon's center of mass to further emphasize his aggressiveness and defensive stance towards Hiccup's weapon. Furthermore, timing is a key principle in this scene, as it ties in with both slow in, slow out, exaggeration, and appeal, as without proper and realistic timing, this animation wouldn't be believable at all. From Toothless slowly creeping to his defensive, aggressive stance, they are all the result of timing. With these principles, they effectively enhance Toothless's character and emotions, as the personalities that were developed were defined more by their movements than their appearance. Also, the timings of these characters' movements are improved by the use of squash and stretch as they help to embellish the emotions and character arcs of both Toothless and Hiccup. Squash and stretch, while being one of the most basic animation principles, is also the most crucial in believable character and emotional development. When Hiccup holds his knife, Toothless is seen to be squashed close to the ground, as the squashed position can depict the character's or object's form either flattened out or bunched up and pushed together. This emotionally reveals to the viewers that the dragon is tense and preparing for a fight. Furthermore, with the use of anticipation, as Hiccup throws away the knife, Toothless follows the weapon's trajectory, leading into a strong sense of invisible anticipation of what he is going to do next, as it's invisible to the eye, but we can feel that something will happen. Before looking back at Hiccup, Toothless again utilizing squash and stretch, stretches back into a more relaxed pose which expertly tells the character arc of Toothless from a defensive and aggressive creature to a docile and curious dragon. This moment is also improved by the staging of both Toothless and Hiccup within the line of thirds, which shifts the focus on the two main competing characters rather than the background. In addition to these principles, the characters themselves, particularly Toothless, are very fluid in their motions and are constantly utilizing an S or C line of action, while also employing follow through and overlapping action. The reason for this is that the most difficult thing to do in an animation is nothing, which can often lead to a stagnant and unrealistic character performance. Furthermore, no matter how deadly a movement is, it can be made more interesting by adding overlapping action. As Hiccup recoils from Toothless in surprise as the dragon begins to sit upright like a person, we see the strong application of arcs in fluid motions that further emphasizes and embellishes the believability of these stylized characters, as very few organisms are capable of moves that have mechanical precision. Furthermore, these arcs also finish developing the character arcs in the scene, as Toothless shows more human like characteristics, and Hiccup shows that while he is still afraid, he is more curious about Toothless. This is the reason why Toothless and Hiccup are as believable as they are, despite being purely fictional. For example, Toothless's head follows an arc line of action when he moves off to the side of the screen, or when Hiccup tries to get closer to Toothless. However, the arcs are only as good as the way they or how they were drawn, as solid drawing, straight ahead action, and pose to pose played a pivotal role in the development of both Toothless and Hiccup. The reason for this is that they played off each other's personalities well, with Hiccup being a small, skinny, but cunning Viking, while Toothless is a large, broad, yet intimidating dragon, which contrasts perfectly. As for how the characters were drawn, while we can speculate which method was used based on how well rounded and solid the animation is, with that being said, it can be assumed that the animators used the pose to pose method for the animation. Overall, it becomes clear from the scene excerpt chosen from the 2010 film How to Train Your Dragon that the effective utilization of the 12 principles of animation can develop believable and engaging character animation performances that can be relatable to the viewers of the film. These principles have also created clear character emotions and motivations that are essential in the creation of believable character animations. Therefore, these principles give this 3D fantasy world of the film and its characters depth and soul.